Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 16th October 2023. My name is TSV Rathavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TRSV, Nectar, NECTAR, Nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been doing in all my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present, and future videos. So let us continue with the topic of discussion for today's video. In the past few videos, we have been trying to analyze in detail two terms which are usually used while describing the psyche of every human living entity, whether male or female. These two are called intelligence and cunning. It is usually believed that when a man's head rules his heart, when a man or woman's head rules his or her heart, then that particular person becomes intelligent. But when the same person's heart rules his or her head, then the same person is termed as cunning. That is, intelligence gone right is called intelligence, and intelligence gone negative is called cunning. Positive intelligence is intelligence, and negative intelligence is called cunning. This has been in use for times immemorial. During our introductory part, while analyzing these two terms, we found that both the head and the heart, that is, the brain and the heart, belong to the fourth layer of material body that envelops a spirit soul. There are four layers, namely causal body of intelligence, astral body of mind, etheric body of senses, and the gross body made up of four materials, namely air, fire, water, and earth. It is this gross body which contains both the head and the heart. So, in colloquial terms, one, the vibrations from the etheric body of senses control the astral body of mind and its vibrations, then that particular person is considered cunning. Whereas when the vibrations from the astral body of mind control the vibrations of the etheric body of senses, namely sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, then the same person is termed as intelligent just because here he or she is considered to be using his or her intelligence positively, while in the other case, that person used his or her intelligence negatively. Now we are trying to analyze these two terms, and in that process, we considered at least two case histories to explain and authenticate the validity of these two terms in the lives and psyche of every human living entity in this society, whether male or female. By now, we also know that it is generally believed that a person who is intelligent is either a male or has a masculine identity, whether or not that person is a male or a female. That is, even in the case of women, when their masculinity comes to the fore, their head begins to rule their heart. Whereas in the case of cunning, whether or not the person is a male or a female, when his or her femininity comes to the fore, his or her heart begins ruling the head. This is just a general belief. It may not necessarily be true in this male dominated society because it could be slightly prejudiced, but nevertheless, these are two categorizations that have been made to divide the society among the intelligent and the cunning. We, as I mentioned before, have already discussed about two case histories in this process. Today we shall discuss about another such case history which will authenticate this theory better. There is a province called Gujranwala in West Punjab, which is a part of the newly created country of Pakistan in the Indian subcontinent. In this province called Gujranwala lived a large brood of Punjabis with the surname Chadha. There were several siblings, cousins, uncles, aunts, relatives, etc., who lived together in one particular locality of Gujranwala. One such person was a shopkeeper who earned his living by running a huge shop and raising his own family in that province. On 19th November 1917, this Chadha's first son was born. This fair-complexioned, hefty, bony boy was eventually christened as Atmaram. Thus, the complete name of this boy became Atmaram Chadha. This boy was the eldest sibling amongst his own in that family. He probably had a couple of brothers and sisters who came after him in that family. This boy was normal, well behaved, and obedient, and he had quite a good reputation not only in his own family but also in the society. But alas, when this boy, who had hardly completed his schooling and was hardly 15, his father suddenly got ill and expired. Overnight, the responsibility of taking care of that family fell upon Atmaram Chadha. Now we will take a detour. If this particular boy had allowed his own heart to rule his own head, he could have become suddenly panicky, conniving, cunning, malicious, and complex, and thus he could have run away from his family responsibilities and started his own life elsewhere. But this eldest of the siblings unabashedly took over the responsibility of his now expired father and decided to raise that family. This shows that even in that young age of 15, this boy allowed his own head to rule his heart. This boy hardly knew what destiny had in store for him. He only wanted to take care of his mother and his younger siblings and prove a noble example to the people around, especially in his own brood. He took up the responsibility to run that shop. And in that process, he encouraged his own younger siblings to continue with their own education so that they could become decent citizens of this society. Because now this boy, unwillingly or willingly, had become a patriarch of that family unit. Hence, even his own mother looked up to him for guidance, advice, and brainstorming. Under the management of this boy, the particular shop began doing very well. At that time, there was another businessman who had his own cement factory called Vah Cement Factory, which was quite successful, and this man ran a lucrative business as a cement manufacturer and distributor. This boy, who was always interested in running a business, one day approached that particular businessman. That businessman interviewed this boy and found this boy quite promising and charismatic. Hence, this businessman decided to give the complete management to this boy while that businessman relaxed at home. Suddenly, the income or monthly salary of this particular boy and his family jumped up many folds. From earning a few 500 rupees, this guy's salary jumped to 3000 rupees per month, even in those days in the early 20s and 30s of the 20th century, and that too in such a remote place as Gujranwala. After this guy worked in that factory for a couple of years, he not only earned some money, but he also learned the trade quite fast. That shows that he began using his own head over his heart, and that is why he was so intelligent. Then the freedom struggle in the colonial India happened, and this partition of India was becoming more and more popular among the population in the Indian subcontinent. People in both India and Pakistan, which was not created then but was in the process of getting created, the businessmen and people became more and more wary. One of such wary businessmen was none other than Atmaram Chadha, whose head was firmly placed at the top of his own gross body. This guy started thinking laterally and developed an excellent foresight. Thus, this guy decided that before it was too late, he and his own family, along with his siblings, must migrate to the Indian side of the Indian subcontinent even before the partition happened. However, meanwhile, this guy had already contracted a particular huge association of cement manufacturers called ACC, or Associated Cement Corporation. There he became a successful distributor of the same company, and during the time when he was in the Wah Cement Company, he also managed to link his own company to that association to help distribute their own Wah Company cement. This shows this almost semi-literate boy as a very intelligent and foresighted person. When this guy relocated to India, they all settled down in a place called Ghaziabad, which is in the present-day state of Uttar Pradesh in India. This guy had already contracted ACC Limited or the Associated Cement Corporation Limited, which had its headquarters in Bombay, present day Mumbai, which is the commercial capital of India, as well as the state of Maharashtra in India. Because he was already popular there, he easily picked up the pieces when he came and settled down with his family in Ghaziabad. The associated company had by now become quite impressed with this boy's caliber, talent, and intellectual faculties. They offered him a job as the distributor of the same company's cement in North India. Overnight, this guy started becoming a successful businessman. He did not stop there. His own younger siblings had got educated by then, and so he placed his siblings in the state of Punjab, which was the eastern side of the same Punjab and was located in India. There he established these children as branch managers and owners of the same distribution company which he started for distributing ACC Cement Limited. Meanwhile, he relocated to the capital of India called Delhi. Luck had by now come to his own side. Destiny and Lady Luck plus genius had begun smiling at him. This guy not only became a successful distributor of cement in North India, but he also successfully established his own younger siblings in that business in Punjab. Besides, during this volatile period, he began acquiring properties in and around Delhi. Soon he started getting into real estate and developing and constructing several buildings, including one shopping mall, one business complex, and one film theater in Delhi. Now, these people had suddenly turned into millionaires. He did not stop there. This guy was one day approached by a panel of educationists who wanted him to manage their own group of institutions, which consisted of a couple of schools and colleges. This guy did that very efficiently, and he termed his own educational institution as Atmaram Education Trust. This trust had its own Atmaram School of Education as well as Atmaram College in Delhi. Both these educational institutions are quite famous in Delhi. They have successfully turned out several generations of quite educated boys in India, both boys and girls. Those kids have not only got educated but have also landed lucrative jobs in various fields both in India as well as abroad. All this shows how a person is helped by his head when it starts ruling his or her heart. This person suddenly becomes intellectual, creative, far-sighted, business-minded, charismatic, motivated, ambitious, determined, and hard-working. Atmaram Chadha opened his own offices both in the center of Delhi as well as the south of Delhi. This guy proved to the world what one mere refugee from Pakistan could do as wonders in this new place called the undivided India. This shows to the viewer the importance of how to allow one's own head to rule his or her heart. Meanwhile, this guy's siblings also flourished in the state of Punjab and became businessmen and women in their own right. These guys acquired a lot of property, jewelry, money, wealth, etc., and they settled down comfortably in the Punjab society or the Delhi society. Atmaram Chadha became a very popular, interesting, and admired character in the business circles in Delhi. Yes, he had his own whims and fantasies, but they are present in every human being. If you decide to look only into this man's talent and plus side, you will find that this was one person who you could have easily emulated to become successful and noble in this world. This is all I wanted to say in this particular case history. This case history gives us an example of how to live in this world, ultimately go spiritual, become self realized, and then get liberated from this chain of repeated births and deaths, and finally get delivered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a fully evolved soul. For that, we must practice continuously. We must always think positively. We must always allow our head to rule our heart and not the other way round. It is the way or the method to make only good, positive goodwill in this society, both in business as well as in our personal lives. This is the secret of overall success that we must all understand, accept, appreciate, and follow. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular case history and subject. Please give me your own expert opinions, thoughts, ideas, and views so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSV Raghavan.